This is 5 Minute Feng Shui, episode 57, The Unlucky 7 Star. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. So today we're talking about the unlucky 7. Now this might be an energy that you don't want to think about or talk about. A lot of people only want to hear about all the good stuff about Feng Shui, but this is one of the things that I like about Feng Shui and classical Chinese Feng Shui is because it gives you a heads up on what you can expect each year and how energies move from year to year. And for me, that tells me that if I'm driving down a road and I see detour ahead, I know that I'm not going to be driving off into a ditch. Some people want to blissfully drive off into that ditch. Well, I'm not one of those people. And I think because you're listening to this podcast, you're not one of those people either. Now, we're going to talk about the 7 because the 7 is an energy that is coming to the center sector. That means it is the reigning star for 2020. And last week we talked about the evil eye ornament and how important that it is for a 7 star. Now, the 7 star is an energy that is, as I mentioned, considered to be unlucky. Now, rolling 7s on a crap table in Las Vegas has always been considered to be very luck, but that's where the luck ends with the 7 star. In Feng Shui, the 7 is considered very unlucky and full of misfortune. Worse, it can cause theft or violence or injury. From 1994 to 2003, the number 7, though, was very lucky until 2004, and then we entered a new period of Feng Shui. And this made the 7 to be especially unlucky. So if you count 7 as a lucky number, it's really important to look at some of its implications in Feng Shui. So for instance, the number 7 is associated with the West and the element of small metal, like a scalpel or a thumbtack, something like that, or a piece of metal. It's also the number associated with the mouth. So it rules everything related to your mouth. It also rules matters related to small metal objects, such as articles of jewelry, to the tip of a knife, or staples. Those are all examples of small metal. 7 has other implications too. It can be the sharp tip of the tongue. Oh, this is a blade that often cuts to the quick, right? And because of that, the 7 is often related to arguments, bullying, and it's related to metal and electricity as well, like the spark of a fire, like from an electrical short. This can also be attributed to the 7 star. So we always want to watch where the 7 star flies every year because this can show you where losses or injuries can occur in your life, such as a loss of a job, financial difficulties, relationship ending, even injury or theft, like car accidents, that kind of thing. That can be also related to the 7 star. It's important to show or to look at where that 7 is showing up in your life. Now, as I mentioned before, this star is flying to the center sector. That means it's going to have the most influence in the year ahead. Now, the 7 star, as I mentioned, relates to the mouth, and we know that the 2020 U.S. presidential elections are coming up, so that's a lot of running mouths saying a lot of nasty stuff, right? And it's important to understand that because it can be very hurtful. So when the 7 star is really the reigning star, we have to watch our words, right? Because the 7 star can cut off those relationships with family members and with loved ones. Having this 7 star in the center sector can cause family members to be cut off from the rest of the family or make family members that become estranged. So it's always important to add water or watercolors like blue, even images, pictures of water, wherever that 7 star flies, because this can help prevent family relationships from being cut off, and help to keep you close. Keeping a close eye on wherever that 7-star flies is always important because of the danger that it can bring about loss, especially like, for instance, the loss of family. Now, it can also cause loss of money, such as through theft. It's really important that you don't just take everybody on their word when the 7-star is having more prominent energy like it will in 2020. We always want to make sure that any kind of important things like job offers or purchases or agreements are all put down in writing. Very important that we get everything done by the rules. We don't take anybody at their word. That's because contracts are something that you are defendable. What somebody might have said or how you heard it might be different. So always get things in writing. It's also the element of theft. So we have to watch our purse and our wallet. And this is especially true if the 7 is at your bedroom or your front door. Now, some people have like an L-shaped house and their front door will open at the center. Now, if this is your house, then you're going to really want to watch that 7-star. It's really important too that you maintain security. 7-star, because it's related to theft, can also mean that that's a break-in point. So wherever that 7-star flies, that could be a point at which, somebody might try to break in. So these are great places wherever the 7-star is to put a blue evil eye ornament there, put some blue colors there, put elements that relate to water like a fountain, an aquarium, a picture of water. Even a blue scarf tied to your purse is a good way to keep prying hands off of it. Now, blue colors are also really important when the 7-star is at your front door or bedroom. And wearing blue colors will help insulate you from that sharp edge of the 7-star. So you can add a black or blue rug at your front door if this is if your door is like in the center sector or wherever that 7-star flies. Now, this podcast, people may be listening to this in other years. So in 2020, it's in the center, and in 2021, it'll fly to the northwest. So wherever that 7-star is, we want to add some blue colors just to kind of add a little protection for us, because water protects. Water's the primary way to wear down the 7-star. So that fountain or aquarium is a great way to handle that 7-star, unless it's in your bedroom. Very important that you use blue colors only in a bedroom, and not too much of it, but never have water, any kind of water images or fountains or aquariums in your bedroom, because this can actually cause you to lose money and harm your health as well. Now, very important that we also, as I mentioned earlier, trust but verify. That was a famous Ronald Reagan saying. Whether that's your credit card statement or someone new that you're dating, make sure that you do your due diligence. Ensure that you know who you're going out with. Make sure you check your credit card statements, your banking statements thoroughly, because those little charges can get slipped in there and you don't even notice them. You will have, it's really important that you maintain, good financial hygiene, checking all those accounts, and just to make sure that there's no possibility that someone has your credit card data or can be making false charges on your accounts. You also want to watch that smooth talkers don't try to part you with your money. So that could be, don't get talked into making large purchases. And if you do, get it all down in writing and make sure that there's a back out clause. Watch those small bills and charges for the online theft and keep a close eye on all your accounts. It's also important that you're cautious with metal and electricity. The 7-star is an area that can create problems with sparks. So if you have, I know I've had sometimes light switches that will spark. Those can spark a fire. So if you have any kind of switch that sparks, get it replaced. Really important. And be careful and cautious when you're handling things like tools or doing anything with metal, as it can be very dangerous for you. Even driving your car or cutting. Don't start engaging in difficult conversations when you have a knife in your hand in the kitchen. You might end up chopping your finger, and we don't want you to do that. Also look at extra safety when using any kind of cutting tools in the garage as well. Now, if this is your front door or if this is the bedroom of a teen driver, make certain that your teen is extra cautious, because the 7-star can, in addition to creating accidents, can create accidents. It's even magnified because teens and children are related to the 7-star. The 7 is the number 7 is related to the West, and the West is related to children. So it's kind of a little bit of a compounded energy there. And whenever energy compounds, that means it's stronger. So if you've got teens or children that are driving and they are sleeping in the sector where a 7-star is, and for that matter, all of 2020, teen drivers really need to be extra cautious. In fact, all drivers should be a little extra cautious. So just be, wary of kids driving cars or even riding bikes or doing any kind of dangerous sports. Make sure that they've got plenty of good, protection helmets and that kind of thing when they're riding their bike. Now, on the job, the 7-star, especially if it's at your front door or your bedroom, can create a possibility of being cut from your job. So read your signs at work. Keep your nose down and avoid any idle gossip, as this can backfire on you, especially if the 7-star is at your front door or bedroom. Make sure you do a good job. You're diligent. Come in a few minutes early. Leave on time or a little later. Play the game. And if you have to, take a look at your resume. It's really important that you kind of keep your ear to the ground and when it comes to the 7-star, and if it's your bedroom or front door, because there is that potential for layoffs and for job implications. It's also true for relationships as well. If the 7-star is in your bedroom or at your front door, there's a possibility of relationships ending as well. Now, these can be relationships between anybody. It could be between parent and child, between partners, between friends. So we really want to watch that, because the 7-star can create a lot of hurtful remarks, and it's very easy to let your mouth run away with you, right? Cutting remarks have a potential to end a relationship and do real lasting damage. So watch that you don't let your mouth get the better of you, because you don't want to say things that you later regret, right? Gossip is another potential when the 7-star is prominent. So it's better not to say anything than to say something negative. So if there's anything that we can learn from the 7-star, it's that, we need to really taste our words before we spit them out, as an older friend used to say, which I always think is a really important life lesson. Taste our words before we spit them out. Count to 10, remove ourselves from the situation if we're going to say something really, really mean and cutting, right? That's that tip of the tongue. It's sharper than anything, and we always want to just give our family and friends a little, extra a dose of salt. What do they call that? Give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and take everything with a grain of salt. There we go. I got it out. And of course, also be cautious. Whenever the 7-star flies anywhere, we have to be careful about violence or theft. That means that this part of the house could have a break-in or a burglary, so just double check those locks at night, or if you leave the house, especially if this is your front door or bedroom. Don't tempt fate by going out late at night or doing things that are unsafe, because you could be opening yourself up to injury or harm. So double check all those accounts, double check all the windows, be extra thorough, give your family members and any kind of disputes, just give it a little extra dose of understanding, and that will help you prevent the 7-star from being a problem. Remember that you're going to use blue colors, water images, except in the bedroom. We don't want to have any water images or fountains in the bedroom, but you can use blue colors like a blue comforter or blue blankets or sheets. Those are perfectly fine. All right, well, I want to talk to you really quickly about, before we get to our 3 tips, and that is that even though this is an unlucky star, you still can use this energy to benefit you. And one of those ways that you use that energy to benefit you is to use the 7-star's ability to, like you would with a plant, prune away any kind of thing that you don't want. So I call it pruning for growth. When I like to garden, and I know that we have trees and bushes that, they start getting kind of stagnant in their growth. But when you come in and you trim out all the excess limbs that are blocking light and air, all of a sudden that tree puts on tremendous growth. This is a way to use that 7-star, and that is to remove those things from your life that are blocking your growth. So be thinking about the 7-star, not always from the negative aspect. Be ready for it, but be thinking about ways that you can use that energy of pruning for growth to help create more room in your life for what you do want. And I do believe that Chinese proverb that you can't fill a full cup. In other words, you have to have room to grow. Just like when you bought clothes when either you were a kid or if you bought clothes for your kid, you'd always like grab the waistband or pinch the toes of shoes to see if there was room to grow. We have to have room to grow. And by using that 7-star energy to remove things that are blocking our growth, we can grow. So I like to think of the 7-star not just as something that is terribly unlucky, but that there's also that silver lining. And that silver lining is one that can help you leap ahead. And that's what I really love about the 7-star. So let's talk about your 3 tips. Tip number 1 is lose weight with the 7-star. With the 7-star coming, that is an ideal energy, especially in the center sector, for losing weight. If you've had a goal to lose weight, this is a great time to think about joining a diet program. Like I've used Noom, and it is a fabulous program. I absolutely love that program. And if you want to lose weight and you want to stick to a diet or some kind of an exercise routine, this is a great energy coming in 2020 that you can use to do that. So it's a really kind of a neat way to use that 7-star. Tip number 2 is leave something behind. Is there something that you would like to get rid of, like an addiction? Maybe a relationship that's been difficult for you. Maybe there's I don't know, just a situation or a scenario in your life. Maybe you've overcommitted. You've got that disease to please and you can't say no. The 7-star will help you learn to say no, or help you get rid of those things in your life that you're ready to move past. That can be an addiction. That could like drugs or alcohol. It could be a relationship that's just no longer serving you, or a situation that is no longer giving you any joy. It's time to move past and to grow and to move on from that. So this is a really good energy to use to leave something behind and move ahead. Tip number 3 is minor surgery. Yep, it's true. The 7-star is the star of the scalpel. So if you've got feet that you can't put into shoes because you got horrible bunions, or maybe you've got a weird little mole or bump or something like that, I know I do. and I'm just waiting for January because I'm going to my dermatologist and getting that weird little thing taken care of. This is a really great energy to use for minor surgery and to take care of teeth as well, because this is also the energy of teeth. Maybe you've thought about getting braces or those plastic aligners. I know I used Invisalign and they really worked and it did a great job. These are all great ways that you can use that 7-star energy. So hopefully you're not thinking or you're not too worried about the 7-star and fearful of it. I want you to be able to use energies, be prepared for them, but also to use them to your benefit, because I really think you can. Hey, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next week on another episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. Thanks for listening to 5-Minute Feng Shui today. The year of the rat is coming, and I want to share with you where you can find money, love, and opportunity in 2020. And it's all in my annual Feng Shui Forecast, the Success Pack. You get a full year of in-depth Feng Shui details about how to use the energy of the year for success and prosperity. That's because every year we're showered with a Roman candle of opportunities for money, abundance, love, and opportunity. You just have to know where they are. And my Year of the Rat Feng Shui Success Pack includes all the details for every house and every zodiac sign. You'll also get this year's lucky clothing, handbag, and wallet colors. So be sure to go to redlotusletter.com/rat for all the details on the Year of the Rat and how to make this year the year of your dreams.